I think if we can probably talk through attendance. We've got Chair Joe Gruby. We've got Dick Thibodeau, Stephen French, Alicia Ray, Amy Landry, Camille Parrish, and then staff, Sid, myself, Kevin Gagne, Mike Broadbent, Erica Kidd, and attendees, we have anonymous by phone, Dan Bilodeau, John Bono, and Casey Geiger.
Great. All right, the first order of business today is to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 12th, 2020.
How are we voting? Are we using chat or just talking to make a motion?
I think we,
Is it roll call?
I think you should do a roll call. I don't know if, and Kevin, I just got to note that Bethel is on.
Okay, she must be using a different number then.
I don't know. I just got an email. I'm on. That's all I see.
All right, let me try turning Bethel on. Hello, Bethel, can you hear us?
Yes,
Excellent. All right, Bethel.
I am turned on.
Excellent. We have Bethel online now.
moving right along.
Okay.
So the motion was to approve the minutes from February 12th.
No, I don't know. Did someone make a motion?
I'll move to approve them as read.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion. Has it been seconded?
I offer a second.
Well, thank you. All right, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, and we'll do a roll call. And you want to take care of that, Kevin?
Sure. Amy Landry,
Yes.
Camille Parrish, Counselor Parrish,
Just unmute.
yep, let me help unmute her.
She's just gone.
Okay, so we'll go with Commissioner French,
Yes.
Commissioner Thibodeau,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Shields,
Yes,
Commissioner Landry. Already got
Yes.
her.
Yep.
And Commissioner Gruby.
Yes.
Did I miss anyone? All right, we have 6 yes, no zeros.
Thank you. Is Heather available to do the quarterly financial report?
Hey, Joe, I'm here. Yes, typically this time of year, we don't really produce a quarterly report because they have not been billed from the Auburn Water District or the Lewiston Water Division. They bill me on a quarterly basis. So the only cost incurred so far this year are the real estate taxes. We did pay Longchamps. Erica, I know you've been reaching out to him. That went in yesterday's mail, so that should be all set. That's a legacy source protection project from last year, and then other than that, that's all I have so far this year. But we do have the audit as well, which I will defer to that agenda item.
Okay. Any questions from commissioners?
None for me.
nope.
Okay, So why don't we go to the audit, which I received at 2:11 p.m.
Yes, unfortunately, I thought that was included in the commission packet, and I just happened to be reading through the minutes, and I discovered it wasn't there, so I quickly emailed that out. So if you have any questions, even after this meeting, feel free to email me, and I'd be happy to address them. I am happy to say that this year's audit was an unqualified audit opinion, as in the past. There were not any adjustments in the audit from the budget to actual presentation for year end that I did during the last meeting. At this point, we had an increase in net position of about $43,000 between the two funds. And if you're looking at your audit report, that is on page 8 of the audit or page 10 of the file, depending on how you're looking at it. So it brings our net position up to $5,656,742. So clearly quite a healthy, we're maintaining that level fund balance, which is important to do for working capital and so forth. The footnotes do disclose we had one land purchase totaling $225,256. When we capitalize land, we not only capitalize the purchase price, but everything that was included. So the environmental, the demolition, all of that goes into the cost of capitalizing the property. And I'm happy to say we made the modification. I think Tiz Crawley at one of the meetings had suggested having Dale start signing checks and then me serving as an emergency signer. So with that change, we have no significant deficiencies, and our prior year finding for segregation of duty has been cleared.
Oh, great. Any questions for Heather? Is everyone still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Just no questions.
Okay. Okay. Could we have a motion to take the audit and put it on file?
So,
I'd make that motion.
second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Al, want to do the roll call again?
Kevin, you're muted.
Too many buttons. Commissioner Landry,
Yes.
Commissioner Parrish. Last time I couldn't hear her.
Yeah, I lost internet for the last vote. So
Okay,
that's double yeses.
double yeses. Excellent, thank you. Commissioner French,
Yes.
Commissioner Thibodeau.
So moved.
Excellent. Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Shields.
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Groovy.
Yes.
Yes. And did I leave anybody out? All right. I have that as 7-0.
Thank you. Do you have Erica online?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Water quality update?
Sure. So the first bullet there, education and outreach hire. Lauren was with us through the beginning of February, and that's when she moved on to a new position. So we were looking to fill her position, and so we're still in the interviewing process. That's kind of where we stand right now amidst this pandemic and social distancing measures. Still is going to be an ongoing process. to try and, talk with people in the best way possible during this situation. The Blanchard Pond that is located on Blanchard Road in Auburn, right off of Route 4. I had brought that up in our previous meeting that we received a proposal from Ty and Bond to do some sampling and modeling work. We had discovered boron sampling that was a high source of phosphorus. And so that contract has been executed, and their staff came out and did some sampling in the pond under the ice about a month ago. And they're looking to come back again in May if the situation permits. If not, then later in the summer, you sample again, and to help us figure out the best solution to mitigate that phosphorus and stop it from entering the lake, whatever that might be, an engineering solution, a biological solution. They're on board to work with us for that. One of the items that came up was the land use management plan, which is something that Lynn Richard had started. She was the former education and outreach coordinator, and she had put together a really good draft of a plan that just gave some of the history to the commission, some history to the lands that we own, and outlined what do we, oh, hello?
Hello, you're there. I can't see you, but I hear you.
Oh, okay. And outlined in that document were what do we want to do for recreation? What do we want to permit or not permit? How do we want to manage our lands? Those kinds of things. So I've looked through it and did some updating. Kevin and Sid are going to give their input on it as well. So I just wanted to let the commission know that's something that we're working on, hoping to update. And at some point here, we'll have a draft that can be passed around, and we'll look for the commission's input. And along with that is, I believe Dale had brought this up as having an outline for how we assess property that we may or may not want to buy that becomes available in the watershed. So that's that land acquisition matrix bullet there. I come up with, it's basically just a risk assessment of, how risky is the property if it ends up in someone else's hands? Is it, could it be developed? Could it have a horse farm put back on it? Are there erosion issues? Those kinds of things. So it was a way to outline some questions and some rankings that we can use just to help us make those decisions. And it's not going to be the only tool to use. Of course, we still need to discuss these parcels as they come up, but just a way to have a formal or relatively formal way of having a process for how we assess land and what's the impact if we buy it. Can we mitigate some issues? And if we don't buy it, what's the risk? Also included in the packet is a forestry informational 2-page flyer that Lauren was here. She worked with me on, and we worked with a forester on that as well to put some information out there to the public about what our BMPs are, what the state BMPs are, and what we do on top of those BMPs to protect our forested lands when we do timber harvesting. And also on there is a note that we did not do any forestry this fall. It was a pretty light winter. It, wasn't very long, and the ground froze, but it just wasn't the right conditions for us to be going in and harvesting. So tentatively, we'll be looking at the drier season of this year, which is usually late summer. And the last bullet item here is the water hauler policy, which we brought up during the last meeting as well. And so I had updated that using a cost assessment that I believe Norm Lamy had put together about 10 or so years ago, and I updated that with today's figures. And so the updated price, it used to be 30 cents per 1,000 gallons, and that's going to be updated to $1.45 per 1,000 gallons. So these tank trucks that come in and fill up are usually 8,000 gallons. So what that is it used to be $2.40 for a load, and now it will be $11.60. So still pretty nominal. But that has reflected the increase in the costs from the time that this water policy was first drafted until now. And it's about a 5 times increase. And I added into the policy that we'll have yearly inspections of the trucks and that they need to have a backflow preventer or air gap. And also typically a permit in the past was $25, and where the fill cost per 1,000 gallons has gone up by 5, that's going to go up by 5 as well. So that's kind of what we have been up to, and just to give you guys an update.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions for Erica?
Yes, Bethel here. Erica, are you involved at all with the 2 marijuana grow facilities on Maple Hill?
So the one that I have heard of was at 275. I think is it Dillingham Hill? It's
Yeah,
kind of,
that's the, I don't think the permits have been granted for that yet because there are a lot of questions. But the one at about, must be 450 Maple Hill, which I can see from my front door, has drilled a well and has trailers on it now, and construction has begun. And some of the neighbors are worried about water table and outflow from those facilities. And I just wondered if you are aware of all that.
so is the 450 Maple Hill, that's right on top of the hill, right? In that big open area?
Right.
Yeah, so I've seen the trailers and that they've started digging there. So I have not seen anything about that being a grow facility, but I can contact Eric Cousins about that. We did get...
They have the permit. It's a 2-story barn with 2 floors of indoor grow.
Okay.
I'm just wondering about effluent and that sort of thing.
Right. So if it's the same one that I'm thinking of, they did submit a septic proposal to us, and it met the minimum requirements, but nowhere in that did it say that it was a grow facility. So I can call and follow up on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you for letting me know that's what they're planning on putting in there.
It's not Maple Hill anymore, it's Marijuana Hill.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you're going to share the land acquisition matrix with us?
Yeah, I certainly can. So it was just a draft that I put together and was going to work that into the land use management plan. But yes, I have it out to Sid and Kevin to look at the moment. But yes, I can certainly pass that on to the commissioners.
Anyone else? Well, thank you, Erica. Kevin, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. We don't have to vote on that anyways. We want to move into public comments, open session.
I think we have Dan Villado, John, and Casey Geiger. Right now, they're muted. I'm not sure if they have. I think I saw several with the chat open. I'm not sure if you want to open it up to everybody or if you want to pose some.
Well, Dan just stated he had nothing to offer right now.
Okay.
Well, we could move into the open session for commissioners, and if someone has a letter thought we could include it.
What is the status of Tiz's membership on the board?
Well, she was all done, but I guess that would be up to Sid to give us an update.
Sid, you're muted. That's why we can't hear you.
Hi, Kevin.
There you go.
Hi, people hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess to move back, I thought I was not on mute, but evidently I was. One thing I wanted to make a comment on the previous report Erica had. I don't know if we can move back one step, but on the water hauler policy, I think as most of you know, Route 4 is going to be reconstructed, probably not this year, but next year. I believe that project is going out to bid this fall to be reconstructed next year. So we should be able to continue with that water hauler policy that we have. But starting in 2021, without that ability for a tanker truck to fill up at Route 4, we were looking at taking that revenue that we've accumulated over the years and splitting that between both entities to put in some type of a fill station, one in Lewiston, one in Auburn. So I guess what I was looking for is possibly a vote to accept the revisions to the water hauler policy, including Erica's updated figures for revenue. So if we had that, then we could go forward with those new rates for this last year that we'd be collecting them.
I move we accept it.
Okay. There's a motion to accept the proposed rates. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Amy.
I think Steve is talking, but he's muted.
Who was talking?
It looked like Steve French was talking, but he's muted.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, we hear you.
Okay. I had a question on the water hauling. You said you're going to set up 2 stations. There's one in Lewiston. Obviously, it's going to be on a hydrant. The same in Auburn. You're going to put it on a hydrant?
We're going to have a specific, no, it's not going to be on a hydrant. It would be on a specific fill station. We'd need to get something from a supplier to have it so it's properly backflowed, metered, locked.
Okay. But it'll be on your system. It won't be on the lake.
Correct.
Right. Thanks.
Correct.
Joe, did you have a second on that motion?
I did. I had a second from Amy.
Great.
Any other discussion? Someone, Kevin, could we do that roll call?
Kevin, you are muted still.
All right. Commissioner Landry?
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Parrish?
Yes.
Commissioner French?
Yes.
Commissioner Thibodeau?
Yes.
Commissioner Ray?
Yes.
Commissioner Shields?
Yes.
And Commissioner Groovy?
Yes.
Did I miss anyone? That's
I think you got it.
7-0.
Okay, and for Sid, there was a question about the appointment for Tiz Crowley's seat.
That's right. We did not have our March trustee meeting. That was postponed due to the pandemic coming on. We are going to be meeting this month, but we expect to be assigning a trustee. I don't know if it's going to happen at this meeting. It will be discussed, but our next meeting is April 21st. But we do propose to have that position seated by our next commission meeting, which is June 10th.
Okay,
Sid, if it's also helpful, it looks like Dan Bilodeau went into the chat and said she has been replaced by Andrew Titus on the Auburn Water District.
As
So
a trustee, but not as a representative to the commission.
Right.
Thank you, Sid.
Sure.
I guess we'll open it up for session for the commissioner. Any comments?
I have one.
Go, Steve.
At the last meeting, we had a discussion about the gravel pit and perhaps some land swap. And I understand there's been some movement with that.
We discussed that in executive session at the last meeting. I did not plan an executive session for this meeting. However, I guess I can tell you.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
I can say that has not moved forward.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to talk about fishing when the ice went out, or?
I wanted to mention, became aware that, and you might, I'm just wondering, Erica, if you were aware that there was an erosion problem during the winter off of Spring Road, that there was sediment on top of the ice that got.
I'm wondering if that's at one of our sampling locations off of Spring Road. Was it towards the north end?
Yes.
Yep. So our staff, they have been out doing perimeter sampling. They started, once we started to get some runoff, spring runoff in the, I don't know, a couple weeks or so ago, maybe a month ago. So they have identified that, and that's actually, we've had some internal communications about that and hoping to talk together about that tomorrow to see what we can do about it. There's a couple known spots that, if it's in the same area that we're thinking of in that northern section of Spring Road, that staff have known have kind of been higher in phosphorus over the years, and
Right.
we're looking to take a look at it and see what we implement to fix that.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure you were aware of that issue and we're looking into it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Hello.
Go ahead.
I'd like to discuss a little more. Dale, at our last meeting, it talked about updating comprehensive plan and just, in his words, develop a list of topics that we could incorporate. And as a suggestion of something to really think about, I'd like to see formulated an ad hoc committee comprising of commissioners and people with expertise in erosion to develop some kind of comprehensive plan regarding the roadside shoreline, namely Lakeshore Drive and Route 4, where there's a lot of erosion, and to come up with probably a long-range plan to implement more buffers and infiltration to prohibit a lot of phosphorus or pollutants to get into the lake. I know a while back we talked about it, and like Kevin suggested, would be basically to reroute Lakeshore Drive, which probably is physically impossible or too expensive. But either if we could alter the roadside to move it back in some serious places where there's runoff and stream run in, to work on that. I'm sure that there are grants available to accomplish that. And again, it's a long-range study and implementation. But in my opinion, it's a lot less expensive to put filtration along the shorelines than it is to put an expensive filtration plant. I know that the water districts have done some work as far as rip-wrapping and things of that nature, but something that would really be significant in preventing any materials running into the lake. I guess that's my spiel for the day.
I think
I
that
would hope.
helpful, Dick. Oh, go ahead.
What?
This is Erica. I just said I think that would be helpful, what Dick had just suggested.
Yeah, this is Bethel. I just wanted to make sure that any change in Lakeshore Drive included some sort of walking or biking path.
Yeah.
Because we tried walking it, and I'll tell you, it is dangerous.
Well,
So
I travel it quite often, you know, going home, and there's some areas I think that really, you know, some good changes could be made where it would complement access to the lake, but it has some really definite filtration, you know, settling pools or whatever. But as we know, pollution is cumulative. It's from all kinds of different sources. But I think it would be a positive move. There's some really long stretches there that really need some kind of change.
I want to bring the attention also, Dick, thank you for bringing that up, that there's a honors student at Bates that's just completing a thesis looking at the watershed in terms of surface waters, weather and development and soil erosion into the lake, and has looked at the effects from pre-1980 to currently. And it would be interesting, I think, for him to share that information with us, because it also shows he's looked at phosphorus as well, potential areas of most concern within the watershed, which would dovetail with what you were talking about, Dick. So that I just wanted to bring that to the attention of everyone, for us to maybe either view a presentation if he's going to give that remotely, because now he's not on campus, or if we'll be able to see the document.
That would be great if either the presentation or the document could be shared with us. Is that Lars?
It is Lars.
Okay, yep. So I had worked with him. That would be, I'd love to see what he's compiled. I know he was working really hard on gathering data and doing analysis.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting, the preliminary maps I saw.
Great.
Just as a little tidbit here, Lake Auburn is a lot smaller than Sebago Lake, obviously. Sebago is something like 10 miles by 10 miles, where Lake Auburn's like, I think, what, 2.5, 3. It's 2,030 acres, or something to that effect. But what was interesting, that the Portland Water District owns 1% of the watershed and only has 8% control of it. So I think we're on the move here as far as Lake Auburn watershed protection in terms of protecting, you know, the lake overall. That's it.
Okay. Anyone else? Kevin or Sid, you want to tell us how many fishermen were on the lake the other day?
There were a lot of boats over the weekend. I know that. Our staff were out putting the buoys out, and the boat launch lot was full.
We also contacted Auburn PD. I did before last weekend, so they could increase patrols around the lake, because we knew there was going to be a lot more use and more of it from the CDC recommendation on social distancing. I mean, not as much water quality, but we were trying to do the right thing in terms of the governor's directive as well. So they increased patrols. I have not heard back if any report on that, but they were made aware of it so they could increase their policing efforts.
I have a question on, are we having a boat inspection, Sid?
I'll let Erica answer that one.
Yeah, so yeah, we had one person reach out to us who is interested in doing that this year. He was just coming back to the area from Florida, so he is self-quarantining for 14 days. I talked to him last week, and then Jennifer Springer, who we had the last couple of years, is also interested. So I'm going to reach out to her. I just got her email response yesterday about doing that. And with doing the boat inspections, the good thing is there's really no need to be more than 6 feet close to an individual at any point in time. It's more of a visual inspection of the boat, the trailer. So that can be done from a safe distance, and we can also be providing sanitizer or wipes. So we are planning to do that program again. And Lake Auburn is considered by the state as an infested lake, so we don't have to apply every year, which is nice. There's money set aside. In the past years, it's been a $2,000 grant, also requiring a $2,000 match. This year, I don't know how much it's going to be. I'm assuming it will be the same, but the state hasn't released that yet. So I guess the long answer to a short question is yes, we will be continuing that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Seeing no other comments, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second,
Thank you, Bethel. Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Kevin, want to do your trick?
Sure. Commissioner Landry,
Yes.
Commissioner Dowdy hasn't joined us yet. Commissioner Parrish,
Yes.
Commissioner French,
Yes.
Commissioner Thibodeau,
Yes.
Commissioner Rhea.
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Shields
yes.
and Commissioner Groby.
Yes, with the hope that we'll actually meet in person next time.
And everyone stay well.
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Thanks, all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.